guys, coming at you today with some little prep on what I'm doing for when the baby comes. It's not necessarily meal prepping. I am making some things that are going to be complete meals, but those are pretty much done already, and I'll show you those. But I'm kind of just prepping like meats and stuff that can be pulled out and made into meals easily. Because my husband is a cook. I mean, that's how we met. He was working for me. So he can cook. It's just, I want to have a bulk of the prep kind of done so that he can just pull a hunk of marinated meat out of the freezer, saute it up, and like just chop up the accoutrements for like tacos or fajitas or whatnot. I'm going to walk you through that today. So let's get started. Okay, so this shouldn't really take too long. I have a few things that I want to prep. The longest thing pretty much is going to be a chicken that I'm going to pressure cook and pull all the meat off the bones, and I might crisp up the chicken skin for me. That, and I want to make a batch of sausage gravy that we can just pull out. If I'm up to it, I'll make my keto biscuits. We'll see. But I'll show you what I already have done. So I don't have it labeled, but the one night I pulled out a bunch of leftover fresh ham that we cooked, and I made chili. So I made that for dinner that night and for lunch the next day. And then I had 3 more quarts. So I froze all those, and each quart is going to be at least a meal plus a lunch. And then the one night I made pulled pork in the pressure cooker. I just left it plain with no barbecue sauce or anything so that he can add whatever he wants to it. If he wants to make it into tacos, he can make it into tacos. Or if he wants to put barbecue on it, he can make it into like pulled pork sandwiches or something like that. So we have 3 of those. And then for his birthday, he requested soup because my husband's a weirdo. So I made a huge batch. His request was zuppa toscana. So I made a huge batch of soup. So this will be probably dinner for him one night if I have something different, or for his lunches, and he can pull them out and eat them over the week. My goal is to have about 4 weeks of meals, like kind of figured out. So the chili, that's 3 meals there. The pulled pork is 3 meals. I'm not going to count weekends. He is probably going to get takeout a night or 2 here or there. So figure 5, 10, 15, 20 meals. So we have 6 so far, and then he has some lunches. I bought a big butcher box with a lot of bacon, which I'm gonna pre-cook so that he can pull out easily and make one of the easiest dinners to make, breakfast for dinner. And then I got 2 big things of flank steak that I'm gonna cut and marinate and have them ready to go in individual packages so he can just pull one at a time, saute it up for fajitas or if I'm gonna make salads or whatnot with it. I got a chicken here, and I have another one coming in the next box. So I'm gonna pressure cook it and pull all the meat so he can make just chicken salad out of it, or we can have salads for dinner, or he can throw it in some low-carb mac and cheese or paleo mac and cheese, which we've been buying and eating lately. And I got more bacon and a thing of breakfast sausage that I'm going to make into sausage gravy. So 6, and then I'm hoping to get, so this will be 3 meals here, so that's 9. This will be probably 3 meals. 10, 11, 12, and then 13, 14, 15. So then we just need 5 more meals after that. It won't be bad. I'm going to get another chicken, so that's going to be another 3. So pretty close. Plus, I do want to be stocked up on some like easy things. I am bringing the whole bakery home, so whatever bread I have left, I'm going to be slicing and throwing in the freezer. We do have like ground beef. You know, he can make tacos real easily, or burgers. So let's get to prepping. Okay, before we get prepping too, I just sat down and made like kind of like a master list of grocery items that we are going to need, because I'm the one that usually does most of the grocery shopping. A lot of times we go together, but I have the list. I know what we need. So if I'm not able to do that and I'm making all these meals, but we need all the stuff that goes along with it, I'm going to keep adding to this, I know it. And I also have on here foods that are good for breastfeeding, so I want to keep those on hand too. I am probably going to do a little bit higher carbs still, but it's going to be all healthy carbs. So it's going to be greens, chickpeas, nuts, avocados, strawberries, blueberries, Greek yogurt, maybe some oatmeal, depending. I've been eating purely Elizabeth granola. They come in like the packets of the quick oats, and they're sweetened with coconut sugar and stuff like that. And I've been usually adding more fat on top of when I have those things so that it reduces the insulin spike that I'm gonna have from eating a higher carb breakfast. But so I have all that stuff on there. I broke it down into categories so he can kind of just look at this and kind of go over it and like write down out of these things like what we need. I'll probably put a whole list in the description box of kind of my list. And I also have Adam stuff. He eats as healthy as he can. He doesn't eat keto because he doesn't need to lose weight at all, and so it's basically just treating his body better, less refined carbs and stuff like that. So I have his stuff on here, but then the stuff that he eats that like isn't really, it's kind of his like cheat food almost, is like cereal, milk, crackers, stuff like that. But he doesn't eat a lot of that stuff. It's mainly the stuff that I cook, and he'll eat regular tortilla shells and hot dog buns and stuff like that. So I have everything on this list. Like I said, I'm probably gonna keep adding to it, but that's like everything that we'll need to go along with all the food I'm prepping. Like tortilla chips for the chili. I've been eating the Siete tortilla chips, the lime ones, super good. They are high carb, but they're paleo still. They're still good ingredients. I need tortilla chips with my chili. Better than eating regular crackers or tortilla chips. I'll keep adding to that, but we gotta get on to prepping our food. Okay, we're gonna get started on the chicken first. I, of course, had to look it up in my Ninja book because I never remember any of this stuff. But I'm going to pressure cook it high, 25 to 30 minutes. We'll just do 30. It says to use this crisper basket, which makes it really easy. I just need a cup of water. Goes right down in the bottom. And we gotta open up this chicken. It says to have the legs tied, but I'm not gonna bother on that one. Or I could make a little gravy too. It comes with the giblets. Could make a gravy out of the water in the bottom and put the giblets in there. Yummy. I'm gonna put these in the water. So I got the giblets underneath. In the chicken goes. Okay. Bye bye, chicken. Okay. So you line up those two. Then you click it. What I always forget is to put this back on seal, but it actually is. I think for once. Hit start. That will just go until it's done. Next, we'll do the bacon. Sorry about the lighting, by the way. I feel like the bane of YouTubers' existence is lighting, because these are great lights for natural, just calm lighting for company and stuff, but it's the worst for filming videos. So we need to have like a million lights set up, and it's a pain in the butt. And I can't bring myself to pull out my lights and everything when I'm doing this on my day off, and then doing more videos at the bakery for the rest of the week. So with bacon, normally I cook it in have a Ninja toaster oven, but because we're doing so much, I'm doing it in my regular oven. So I am just setting up huge sheet pans with aluminum foil on them and just laying out all the bacon and getting it into a 425 degree oven. I'll probably use all this bacon grease to cook my sausage gravy. When I'm done with the bacon, I'll just dump it right into a pan. I may have to do this in 2 batches still. Your aluminum foil is smaller than your pan and you don't want to get grease on your pan still. Just fold up the edges a little bit. Keep all the grease in. Spin it all up. Remember, bacon shrinks. So you can put it pretty close together, if not a little touching. If you have a bunch of baking rack, put it on there and it'll crisp up all the way around faster without having to like flip it. But I'm trying to make the least amount of dishes for Adam too, because he does all the dishes. I don't want to make a crap ton, especially because we're going to be running around tonight doing things. Great tip is to always have your garbage can next to you. Mine is behind the table because of the way this kitchen's set up now. So the sink is my garbage right now. I might do some more meal prepping also. The last week I'm off of work. Like my last week at the bakery is the second week in November. Week after that is the week of Thanksgiving. So if I feel up to it, I'll make keto biscuits. I'll make more of my bread if I don't have a lot left, to have BLTs throughout the weeks after he is born. This is just the meat prep. I had to get all this out of the freezer and break it all down because I got another butcher box coming. I don't have a ton of room. Our freezer's hoping to have a stand-up freezer by now, but it is. Got a shot for one of those now. Number 2. And then we'll get on to cutting some flank steak. Our oven just preheated, so I'm going to throw it in for 10 minutes. I'm going to pull them out, flip them, turn them, throw them back in. Bacon's going in. Okay, it was lunch break for my husband, so we were on the phone while I'm cooking the bacon. But I switched it because there's a higher shelf and a lower shelf. The lower shelf was getting done more, so after 10 minutes I just switched them, and then 10 more minutes, and then I pulled them out, flipped the bacon, and put them back in for just 5 more minutes. So they're going to be done soon, I think. We'll take a look real quick. Yeah, almost done. So I got 3 minutes left on the timer, and we'll check on that and get this tray in, and I got one more pack to line up. This is the pan I'm using to cook the sausage gravy, so I'm going to pour the bacon fat off into that. My bacon is just about crispy. I don't want to get it too crispy. Adam doesn't like it super crispy. I love it super crispy. But we're going to be reheating this again, so you don't want it like super cooked. So I just got a bunch of paper towels set up here. And I'm just going to lay it all on top of the paper towels. And then you use the tin foil, the little spout. To pour into the pan. Probably I'm going to need 1 pan's worth of grease. And then I have a jar that I keep for bacon grease. One more pack. So that took 10-25 minutes in the oven. Takes about 20 in, maybe 18 in the air fryer. Because there's less on these pans, they're probably going to take a little bit less time. Sorry, it's actually nice here, so we have the windows open. Try to get away from the train a little bit. I'm going to pack these up into like probably 3 packs of bacon into freezer gallon Ziploc bags. And label it, and that way he can just grab a bag out, eat it for a day, and then the next week he can grab another one out. So we'll have 3 weeks of some bacon. Our pressure cooker went off a couple minutes ago, so I'm going to quick release. Really scared me. I never get to like go over. Okay. We're waiting on that. I'm going to want to strain that water and get the giblets out so I can maybe make a chicken gravy or something out of it. That guy. Okay, I think it's finally going to let me. Maybe. Almost. Oh, there we go. Chicken. So there's our chicken. Not a lot of flavor, but it is going to be tender. Perfect for adding to whatever we want. Thigh and leg. So we don't need this anymore. All that chicken stock down there. Let's see how the bacon's doing. It needs to be quite flipped yet. Just turn it around. Maybe like 5 more minutes. Flip it. This guy. Let's see if I can do this one-handed. Nice. That's gonna be good. Just throw all that out. Okay, I did a little flipperoonie on the bacon. It's almost done. Only a couple more minutes. So I'm trying to get the chicken skin off of this chicken and onto a little tin foil to maybe throw it into the air fryer to crisp up for a little snack. You might want to wait for it to cool down a little bit. Bacon is almost done in there. The bacon, I think that's pretty much done. That's it for the oven, so turn that guy off. Then it's going to be on to cutting some flank steak. Hard part's not eating the bacon. Especially this piece is a little crispy. I eat that little guy. Tin foil. These 2 pans are clean. The other one has a little bit of grease on it, but that's it. I want to eat all this bacon right now. Looks so good. We'll be back to pull some chicken, cut some flank steak and marinate it, and make some sausage gravy. Okay, today, all the noise. Got another train. My father-in-law is working on the bakery and the things going along with that. So normally I'd be multitasking a little bit more for this, but because I'm filming, it's harder to do. So I'm going to be cutting up my flank steak. Normally I'd be cooking my sausage gravy at the same time, but because I'm filming, I'm just going to do one thing at a time. I already got my bacon. I did about 7 ounces in each. That's what it came out to be. So I'm going to get all the air out of these. And like fold them and then seal them up like that. So they're very compact. Not a lot of air in there. Also, it's always good to have a Sharpie handy, which I think I do. So I'm going to be labeling everything. There's bacon done. I will probably pull the chicken at the same time I am cooking the sausage gravy. I already have a whole thing of taco seasoning. It is keto. I sweeten it. Some recipes don't even call for sugar, but I know for a fact that my favorite McCormick has sugar in it. So I always put a little bit of Canto classic monk fruit sweetener in my taco seasoning. But I actually put taco on here. And then for each pound of ground beef, I believe it's 2 tablespoons. I'll look that up again just to make sure, but if he's making dinner, I want him to use enough seasoning, so I'll put that on there also. But I'm gonna make a fajita seasoning, but I'm gonna season up my meat ahead of time. First, I'm gonna cut some onions. I have a garbage bowl here that I'm going to use. That's another thing, if you don't have a garbage can right next to you, use a garbage bowl. That way you're not going to the garbage every 2 seconds. But before I get this cutting board dirty with meat, I'm going to cut up an onion for the sausage gravy. I'm doing everything sitting down. It's just easier to film and easier for me right now. My feet being swollen. So just medium dice on the onion. And I'm going to put it right into my saute pan. I'm at 33 weeks right now, by the way, and hopefully I'll be able to do some meal prep when I'm at 37 weeks, which is the week after the bakery is done. There's the onion for later, and then the pen. I'm going to have 3 bags open to put steak in, and some onions. I'm going to put like 3/4 of an onion in each bag. And yes, even after being a chef for years, my eyes still burn and water from onions. Not a tolerance thing, it's just a personal thing. Some people affects more than others. I've tried pretty much every trick in the book. These guys we're going to slice like fajita onions, so just in slices like that. Once you get to here, turn it and slice down some more. So half in each bag at least, and then the last one will split up. Okay, onions are all in. Now for the steak. Flank steak is pretty simple. Most of the time you don't really have to trim much off of it. You can trim a little bit of the silver skin if you want, but it's not really super necessary. So what I'm gonna do, let's see the best way to tackle this. Cut it into strips. And the thing with flank steak is the tendons run this way. So if you cut it this way, it's gonna be tough. You gotta cut against the grain of the meat. So I cut small chunks on the bias like that. And that's like fajita meat. And then that, once it's cooked, will completely fall apart because the tendons are there. I'm going to go through and cut all these into little pieces. I'm going to try to keep the bias cut. You also don't have to do this. I'm doing it because it's going to be quicker for Adam to just pull it out and throw it in a pan. You can like marinate it whole and cook it whole, and then let it rest and slice it. It's delicious that way too. It's also delicious with just barbecue sauce for barbecue tacos. We used to serve it sliced bourbon barbecue with fried tobacco or string onions. I do kind of want to weigh this out. So 1 pound, 2 ounces for now. case I have to trim something off. There you go, 1 pound, 2 ounces. Trim off this little bit of bristly skin. That's like 8 ounces, so right. Still not a lot on here. It's very lean cut of meat. Do the same thing. 1, 2. Like I said in my gadget videos, these Wusthof knives, 16 years old, and they still cut pretty darn good. A little shy of a pound, so I'll take a little bit out. Okay, 1 pound of ounce in each. That's good to go. Get the seasoning up for it. So what I do whenever I make my own seasonings, which is what I do a lot because it's just easier to know what's going into them, I always just look up a recipe online. Basically, I just look it up. I usually do a big batch. I don't do whatever it says here. 2 pounds of chicken, 2 tablespoons fajita seasoning. I don't think that's enough for me. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 12 teaspoons divided by 3 is 4 tablespoons. So, according to them, this is enough for 4 pounds of meat. I don't buy that. And I don't know, I don't really like this recipe actually. It doesn't have, usually I put oregano in my mix. Let's see what else we can find. That one has 5 stars, so I clicked on it. This yields 2 tablespoons. So I'm going to do it times 3. So 6 teaspoons of chili powder, which is 2 tablespoons. Paprika, 3 teaspoons, which is a tablespoon. 1.5 teaspoons of cumin. Same with onion and garlic. Yep. Problem is, if I don't leave those little shaker things on, Adam goes to use things and just shakes them and then doesn't realize. I took the little shaker off. 3 teaspoons of oregano. Brand new, I believe. Yep. And then salt and sugar. Tablespoon of each. 3/4 cayenne. I usually make mine a little bit spicier with some crushed red pepper. This is like brand new. Salt. And just using Keto classic tablespoon of sugar. Here's our mix. It's all together. Now, since I'm going to be putting this back in the freezer, I'm just going to marinate it all. And when I marinate my fajitas, I do some olive oil, which I'm using avocado oil actually. That goes in there. Then I do some lime juice, which I wish I had real lime, like the nicer, good lime, but this will do in a pinch. I think fajitas should be a little limey. And that's what I should add to the grocery list. Some limes. Get some fancy fajitas up in here. So it says like 2 tablespoons for a pound. It says 2 tablespoons per recipe, but it doesn't say how much the recipe is supposed to be. I never measure seasonings. I season and taste. I'll just do 2 for now. Got our bag. We're gonna moosh it all up. And if we need to add more oil, we can. Get it all dispersed. I did not seal it, so not all the way. More oil in there. Good and mushy. To me, that doesn't look like enough seasoning. So I'm going to put more in. Another 1/2 tablespoon. This will be enough for dinner and probably lunch for him. Okay. Same thing. Squish all the air out. Roll it up. And after that, you can lay it flat and squish it all out because it will defrost faster if you freeze it flat like this. It will defrost in no time. It's super flat. If all the air is out, it'll be nice and compact. You want to be able to lay it flat in your freezer. I have a recipe for this. I will link below. I've never made it on camera, but I made it for camping. So I'm just going to get through and cook this as fast as I can. I got to get out of here soon. But I'm going to saute up onions in bacon grease, add salt, pepper, add my hunk of breakfast sausage. The only seasonings I really put in are crushed red pepper and sometimes some thyme. And that's it. Heavy cream, and I use arrowroot. It's actually beneficial to you, better than cornstarch. While this is all sauteing, I'm gonna pull chicken. It's actually easier to do this when it's still warm. Cooled down quite a bit. Oh, I did eat the crispy chicken skin, by the way. It was delicious. So good. There it is. I didn't even need all of my little slurry here. I'm going to taste some salt. You don't want the salt and pepper too early because there is seasoning in the pork. And of course you're using bacon fat, so that's salty too. That's about it. Salt. That's good. Into a container. Okay, well that's about it here. I am probably going to make another chicken and maybe do a chicken pot pie with all the stock and stuff that we had left over and the bones. It's going to be super delicious. But other than that, I hope you guys enjoyed this video and it helped you kind of think about meal planning a little bit and gave you some insight. So don't forget to check out my Amazon links, and I'll have a blog link to my original sausage gravy and biscuit recipe down below. Give the video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. And as always, I'll be back with many more keto dessert recipes. Bye guys.